Okay. So I don't see Reverend Stacy yet. Just give me a couple of more minutes to make sure I can connect. Oh, there she is. I think she is here. She
Good
is
evening.
green. All right. Hey, Reverend Stacy. How are you?
Hey, you all. Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, and thank you for joining. Um, it's the poet Khalil Gibran who speaks eloquently of the role of the parent in the sacred act of raising children. He states from his book, The Prophet, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. These words are poetic, poignant, and powerful, and yet painful for millions of couples who are faced with the conundrum of infertility. They come through you, but not from you. Gibran's words give great joy to the expectant parent, but his words unintentionally pick a scab on the hearts of the couple struggling with infertility. They come through you, but not from you. Millions of men and women across this nation and the world, especially people of color, suffer in silence because of our places of refuge and rituals of healing. Do not consider their struggles when the cradle remains empty. That's the first two paragraphs of Dr. Otis Moss III, and senior pastor of Trinity United Church of Christ, and his wife, the First Lady, Monica Brown Moss, the second forward in Hold On to Hope, stories of Black women's fertility, faith, and fight to become mothers. Hold On to Hope is what we consider now a sacred canon that consists of the stories that give voice to Black women or women who have been kissed by nature's son, who have struggled with this condition called infertility. The book is set up as it has two forewords, one by Dr. Desiree McCarthy Keith, MD. She's a doctor in Georgia, as well as Dr. Otis Moss III and his wife, Monica Brown Moss, who does the second forward. And the book is broken down by sections that share stories of women and the multiple paths that they may have taken to become mothers. And so just for a few moments, we're going to hear from some of those women. I thought that it was very important for us to set the book up this way so that women understand that, first of all, Black women all over this country are struggling with infertility, but Black women are also choosing a variety of paths to become mothers and build the families of their dreams. I wanted people to hear real stories, and I wanted people to be able to resonate with stories of women that looked like just like them. And the last portion of the book is a help section that deals with everything from fertility etiquette to what one needs to do if they're struggling with infertility or simply thinking about becoming mothers. There's a section on a ritual of hope and healing. There is also a section, excuse my puppy that's barking, my other child. There's also a section for pastors and faith communities who also, so that they will know how to provide support to women and couples who are struggling with infertility. And there's another section that actually talks about actual resources, from financial resources or how to find good doctors, etc., when you're struggling with infertility. Hold On to Hope does not provide a guarantee that you will have a baby, but what it does is that it will give you hope and it will give you encouragement to not give up if you desire to have a family, whether you are married or unmarried, and to move forward or to forge forward to build the family of your dreams. Our first storyteller tonight is Natasha Moss, who is under the IVF section, and she's going to share a little bit about her story and herself.
Good evening. I'm just going to read a few lines from my section in the book. While the topic of children came up in early conversations between my husband and I, including numbers, I wanted 5, he wanted 3, genders, both of course, improbable names. No way am I naming our son Milestone. We never put a timeline on starting our family. We were busy enjoying our life with each other, building a rock-solid foundation for the weighty responsibility of raising children. Not for one moment did we stop to consider that we wouldn't build a family until we couldn't. When we started our path toward parenthood, we had no idea how far the long, winding road would take us. What started in the spring of 2000 as a quest to become more healthy and prepared for pregnancy turned into a 13-year journey. That's just a piece from my entry in the book. And if I can say briefly, I was talking to some young sisters over the weekend, and they were in their late 20s, approaching 30, and I was telling them about the book and a little bit about my story, and one of them asked me, well, why did you wait so long? And it was interesting because that's a question I had never gotten before, and it was funny because I thought, you know, here you are 30 at the time, and not really thinking that she wants children eventually, but not really thinking about just the process and the journey. And I kind of shared with her, I chuckled a little bit and said, well, I really didn't wait so long. It wasn't really me that waited. You know, we kind of had to wait on the process to happen for us. So I think this book is a powerful book, not only for people who are struggling with fertility, but anyone who's even thinking or considering having children, or who know people who may be thinking about having children. So it's just a little piece from me.
Thank you so much, Natasha, for sharing that portion of your story, and also providing that little rich nugget for women and couples who might be thinking about starting their families, or women who have put starting a family on the back burner. Our next speaker, our storyteller tonight, will be Lashondra Connie Dickerson from Chicago, Illinois. Her story is found in the donor section.
Hello. I'll be reading My Leap of Faith. Have you ever wanted something in life so badly that it consumed your thoughts? Well, for me, that consuming thought was becoming a parent, and it started at the age of 16. Once I turned 29, I began to dread Mother's Day because each year was a reminder that I was not a mother. Each time one of my friends had a baby, I was excited, but at the same time, I was envious. I would pray and ask God to bless me with a husband and a child because I never wanted to be a single parent. When you're young, you have all these dreams and fantasies of becoming a wife and mother, and eventually when it doesn't happen, you lose hope. I used to love spending time with my baby dolls. I would spend hours playing mother. Hello?
Lost our audio.
Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, all we have, yeah, it looks like Connie.
It looks like she went offline. It must have dropped her connection.
Okay, all right, all right. Well, we will wait, I guess, for her to probably re-log in and hopefully pick up where she left off. Reverend Stacy?
Yes, so we'll wait for her. She'll come back, and so we'll move on to our next storyteller as we don't have a whole lot of time. And we'd like to invite Candace Brown to share her story. Candace is from North Carolina, and her story is found in the surrogacy section.
Good evening, everybody. I'm excited to be able to share just a little bit of our story today, and the search for a surrogate and the use of a gestational carrier. So, from our story, it's easy to pray for rain when there are dark clouds in the sky. You already believe it's going to rain anyway. That's how our prayers for conceiving started. It takes a bit of faith to pray for rain when there are no clouds and there is a drought. as we believe that it has to rain eventually. After all, trouble can't last always. That's how we prayed when we were doing IUI and through all the surgeries. Something would work out eventually. However, praying after being told that we could not conceive naturally or with IUI or with IVF is like being in a drought with no clouds in the sky and still praying for rain, but praying for it to rain in your living room. So for us, the concept of being told that it was unlikely that we'd be able to carry our own child was an interesting opportunity. And we were introduced to the concepts of gestational surrogacy, which is the idea that someone is really only the surrogate for the gestation, but all the DNA material belongs to us. And so the child is genetically related to both of us. But when we look back over the process and we imagine it, we never could have imagined that we would be blessed with a child this way, but that we'd also be blessed by the relationship we have with the gestational surrogate and her husband, and that someone would be just that generous and that kind to essentially give up over a year of their life in order to make sure that we were able to be parents and that we were able to experience the joy of parenthood. And so for us, the concept of hope is far wider than we ever imagined, because I think we limited our possibilities. We limited what the options might look like. And if you had asked us 9 months ago, we never would have believed that this would have been the option. But it's also one people aren't familiar with. So we're excited to be able to share it with others and hope that the hope that we experience would be shared with others.
Thank you so much, Candace, for sharing your story and encouraging us and giving us all hope to be open to to God's plan for us. Our next story is from Brandy Harris from Chicago. She is found in the section called Waiting in the Meantime.
Hello, everyone. As Reverend Stacy mentioned, my name is Brandy, and to set up the portion that I'm going to read, my quick story is I was diagnosed with something called premature ovarian failure, and one of those symptoms is infertility. So I found out less than 6 months after I had gotten married. So it was a very interesting way to start out our marriage. So I'm reading from page 228. My marriage suffered as communication became hard. My emotions appeared to be cold. I told hubby to leave me, regardless of the fact that we loved each other. I asked why he was mad at me, but of course he said he wasn't, and I was imagining things. There was no God in all of this because this is not what I or we deserved. At the same time, the strong feelings I had for hubby couldn't be wrong. I mean, he is my soulmate, and I couldn't imagine having to do this with anyone else. My mind, heart, and soul lived in a conflicting duality that I couldn't pray nor work my way out of. In public, I was rocking, but behind closed doors, even away from hubby, I was a shell that felt empty more often than I realized until I started writing this. So that was the end of that piece. This process was really cathartic. So I really appreciate being a contributor to this book because it helped me piece together where I was and where I am and really where we want to end up. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Brandy, for sharing your story and reminding us that if we all have the courage and strength to hold on long enough, and we fight God long enough and wrestle with God long enough that we believe God for what God has promised us, that eventually we know that our blessing will come. And Brandy, we want you to know that we are praying with you and for you, and we're believing with you. And as I told you last weekend, we're going to have a whole bunch of parties when this baby comes, because we know
Amen.
that a baby or babies are coming.
Yes, ma'am.
Amen. We just have one more person that is going to share. Shiloh wants to share, and I'm not going to let her. But we have one more person that is going to share. We have Angela Faulkner-Jeans from Mississippi that is going to share really quickly, and then we're going to open it up for questions.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Like Reverend Stacy said, my name is Angela Jeans, and I live in Olive Branch, Mississippi. And my story starts on page 85, and it talks about God giving you the desires of your heart. So this is two short passages I just want to read to you ladies that I hope it will encourage you and also get the book to hear the rest of the ladies' stories that you've heard so far tonight. So, while on one of the prayer calls in August, the FFCG annual tea was being discussed, and the event was going to be held in Chicago. My husband and I desperately wanted to attend. A lot of the women I had spoke with on the prayer call were going to be there. I wanted to meet Reverend Stacy in person and let her know how her story inspired me to hold on to hope. If God did it for her, he would do the same for me. At 2 p.m. that Friday before the tea, my husband and I decided to sacrifice $70 to catch the mega bus from Memphis to Chicago for my mother-in-law blessed us with tickets to the event. We arrived in the Windy City after riding the bus all night. Upon arriving for the tea, we met Reverend Stacy and a few of the other ladies from the prayer call. FFCG had held a raffle for a free IVF, and I immediately signed up. When they pulled the ticket for the raffle, my husband and I were both sitting there with our hands shaking and praying that our number would be called. All I remember hearing in my ear was God saying, "Trust me." And then I heard our number and name. We had won a free IVF. I was blessed to have an awesome pregnancy. I found out at 6 weeks that I was pregnant with twins, my double blessing. I didn't have any morning sickness, only heartburn and preeclampsia. I enjoyed every day being pregnant, and I thank God daily for allowing me the opportunity. I went 37 weeks and had to have an emergency C-section on Friday, August 7th. Cameron and Addison entered the world at 2:29 p.m. and 2:31 p.m. God had blessed me and my husband with two little miracles who were perfect. All I could do was tell God thank you, and I promised him I would share my testimony and encourage others not to give up.
Thank you, Angela, so much for your story as well and being such a source of encouragement and ambassador hope for each one of us. At this time, we're going to open up the line for questions, and Bridget, I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can handle that portion.
Excellent. Thank you, ladies, all for sharing. I see that Connie is back, actually, so maybe we can pick up where Miss Connie left off. Are you there?
I am here. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I lost the internet connection.
No worries. If anyone has any questions, very, very quickly, you can put them in the chat window, or if you are on the phone, all lines are open, all lines are unmuted, where we can take questions. Reverend Stacy, do you think we have enough time to finish Connie's portion? Or y'all might just have to get the book. I don't know. So
Well, let's see really quick if there's any questions. If there's not any questions, we'll turn it back over to Connie for a couple of seconds and wait for a few questions.
Okay. All right. I'm wanting to respect everyone's time, and we did want to keep it to 30 minutes. So if anyone has any questions, please share with us now while we have these lovely ladies online and on the line to answer them. Any questions from anyone? Okay. I think everybody's just going to pick up the book. Oh, hello.
Hi. This is Tanya, Cynthia, Michelle, and Carla, and we're calling from Atlanta, and we really just wanted to say hello and thank you. We're the Daughters of Hannah, and we are a support group in infertility and miscarriage support group in Atlanta. And we were just looking at your website this evening and came across this, so we wanted to say thank you for blessing us with this, and we really look forward to reading your book.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so very much. That's awesome. And we thank God for the Daughters of Hannah and the Infertility Support Group in Atlanta and the work that you all are doing to provide support for women in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And we're going to continue to pray for each one of you all for your success as you're seeking to build your families and as you strive to support each other. Let's try to connect soon so that we can hook up the Fertility for Colored Girls Atlanta chapter and the Daughters of Hannah. And please pick up the book.
Oh, we will. We're definitely getting the book.
Awesome.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we've got a few minutes left, and I don't see any questions. Connie, did you want to finish?
Sure. I'll finish a few more. When you're young, you have all these dreams and fantasies of becoming a mother, wife and mother, and eventually when it doesn't happen, you lose hope. I used to love spending time with my baby dolls. I would spend hours playing mother. I would dress them, comb their hair, feed them, and put them to sleep. Little did I know that my dreams of becoming a mother to my actual child would have major roadblocks. So fast forward, as I look at my son and watch him grow, I'm so grateful to God I didn't listen to the critics along the way. I took a leap of faith, and look what the Lord has done.
Amen. Thank you so much, Connie. Again, we thank you for being such an ambassador of hope, and we thank you for your courage. For those who may not have read Hold On to Hope, and you'll hear more, Connie's, she's so courageous that she is a clergy woman, an unmarried clergy woman, that made the decision to take charge of her own reproductive health and to really follow God's plan for her life. She believed that God had called her to be a mother, and she did not listen to what anybody else had to say and wasn't worried about what anybody else had to say. Only thing she was worried about what God desired for her, and she forged forward and she gave birth to her beautiful son. So we thank and praise God for that, because there might be some women on the line who are also unmarried, who have postpone having a child for whatever reason, whether that's waiting on the husband or career, and now you're ready to have a child. And Connie's story and even Tiffany Trent's story in the book, they shed a little light on women, what it means to be a married woman who makes the decision to listen to God and move forward and becoming a mother. Any other questions for anybody on the line?
No, but can I just add that many of us are waiting a little bit longer to start our families, whether it's career, schooling, or we just haven't, I'm sorry, this is Toria Driver, because, or we haven't found the guy yet. We use birth control to avoid pregnancy for years. Our thought is that when we are ready and the timing is just right, we'll stop the birth control and get pregnant. But I just want you to know that it's not always that easy. My advice would be to just be proactive, check your ovarian reserve. A lot of the clinics are offering free fertility awareness checkup. It's a simple blood test, a quick ultrasound, and it'll give you a lot of information.
What Toria didn't tell you is that Toria Driver is also a contributor in the Hold On to Hope, book, and she also has been working at a fertility clinic for over 10 or 15 years, Toria. And so she's a
19.
19 years, yep. And so she is a wealth of knowledge, and she sees women, unmarried and married couples every day. And so we thank her for her contribution, and we also thank her for giving us that advice.
Thank you.
Anyone else on the line have any questions or comments they want to share before we close out? Well, I would just like to say that it's our prayer that those who are on the line, that you would help us continue to raise awareness and help us to extend the reach of the Hold On to Hope book, stories of Black women's fertility, face, and fight to become mothers. I did self-publish this book. It is not on Amazon just yet. And it's not there because one of the things that we are seeking to do is a portion of the proceeds of the book will go to Fertility for Colored Girls to help raise money for women and couples who are struggling with infertility and who might need support with treatment or adoption. And if we place it on Amazon or these other places, it will not allow us to raise as much funds as it would if it comes directly to my site, so that we can support fertility for colored girls in a greater way. So I'm believing that people are going to support Hold On to Hope at the site at drstaceyedwardsdunn.com for now, and that that God is going to use each one of us to be ambassadors for the book, so that we might be able to get it in the hands of people who need it. So we just ask that you would share the word about the book, and just help us to extend the reach so that other people can hold on to hope. Bridget?
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you very much for this event tonight. I'd like to thank Reverend Stacy for moving forward with the vision that God has given her in birthing fertility for colored girls and Hold On to Hope. It's just fantastic. And the work that Fertility for Colored Girls is doing is absolutely phenomenal, and I am absolutely honored to be a part of it. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for everyone who has joined us all of this week. We will have links to all of the recordings from the event. Of course, we want you to support Hold On to Hope. Go grab your copy of the book to see what happens. Thank you to all of our speakers, to all of the contributors to the book, and just we continue to pray for everyone who is on their fertility journey. And y'all take care and have a wonderful night.
God
Good
bless.
night. Thank you.
Love y'all.
Good
Good
night.
night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night, Shiloh.
Bye.